thanks so much for turning up again. Great to see you, or maybe I should say great to be seen. I've got two poems for you today, but before I do so, I thought it would be nice to just give a bit of a send up to the wonderful people behind this setup. The platform, I believe, is the technical jargon, or the people who've been making the recordings, or at least putting them out there and doing all the stuff that needs to be done. And so I'm going to just say hi to everybody. First of all, Amanda. Now, in fact, Amanda's the only one of the team I've actually met. So I was just talking to Amanda just now. She's just filling me in on a few of the finer points of the other four people in the team. Of course, well, I say of course, there's Nikki. Now, Nikki is a very important person, and you need, if I say any naughty words or anything like that, Nikki is right on. You've got to watch Nikki. You've got to stay on the right side of Nikki. But hi, Nikki. Now, who have we got? Callum. Now, Callum. I understand you work with Amanda. You're one of the co-founders. Is that right? Anyway, Callum. And you're technical and you're very clever and stuff. Louisa. Now, Louisa is inordinately special, and you can tell because she spells her name E-R, Louisa, as opposed to Lisa. And Louisa, I think I'm right in saying you do all the you sort of do all the gift wrapping, you know, at the front. I'm in that little box, and you play the harp or whatever you do in the background. I think Louisa is responsible for all that side of things. So, hi, Louisa, and thank you so much. And then finally, Reese, who is business development. I mean, these terms mean nothing to me, I'm afraid. I'm just a bear of a very small brain. But I just wanted to say a big hi, a bit of a send up to these this fantastic team who's been enabling this these readings to go out. So thank you, folks. Thank you for all you're doing. Right, let's get on to the poems. The poems. First one, The King's Breakfast. Oh, whenever I read that, I always think I'm reminded of the phrase "the dog's dinner." This is the King's Breakfast, and this is quite a well-known one. Let me show you a picture or two. The king wants some butter for his bread. That's the story behind it, or at least the theme. And if you look on that side, you see the king and the queen discussing great things. And when they discuss great things, they always wear their crowns, of course. And so again, some small boy, coloured in red, I'm afraid. Now, over the page, very important this, there we have the dairymaid, but here we have a cow, red cow. Now, that cow is an Alderney. Excuse me. And this is what I remember when I was young. It wasn't very long ago. When I was young, I, for some reason, always thought an Alderney was a type of vicar. I remember that, and I could never work out. I could never work out why there should be a vicar in the middle of a poem like this. But in fact, an Alderney is a cow. I should say was a cow. You've heard of Jerseys and Guernseys. They're from the Channel Islands. And Alderney, the Alderney cow was from Alderney. I say was because I've just googled them, and they have since become extinct in the 40s. They became extinct as a breed. As a pure breed, but they were very good cows for buttermilk. So if you're a king and you want butter, well, it's got to be an Alderney. An Alderney. Anyway, the king. You hear the story if you don't know it already. But the king gets his butter, and you see on that side the king and the queen dancing. I just love that picture there. You see the king and the queen split up, but see the king and the queen dancing away, and the king's, oh dear, so difficult. Not difficult, just incompetent. There we are, the king and the queen dancing away like I am. There we go. And I love that bit, the slipper flying off the king's foot. And of course they are wearing their crowns as is right and proper. And on the other side we have a rather red cow, an Alderney cow, and the dairymaid skipping and dancing together because they got a result. They got a result. Let's have the poem without more ado. The King's Breakfast by A. Milne. The king asked the Queen, and the Queen asked the dairymaid, "Could we have some butter for the royal slice of bread?" The Queen asked the dairymaid said, "Certainly, I'll go and tell the cow now, before she goes to bed." The dairymaid, she curtsied and went and told the Alderney, "Don't forget the butter for the royal slice of bread." The Alderney said sleepily, "You'd better tell His Majesty that many people nowadays like marmalade instead." The dairymaid said, "Fancy," and went to Her Majesty. She curtsied to the Queen, and she turned a little red. "Excuse me, Your Majesty, for taking of the liberty, but marmalade is tasty if it's very thickly spread." The Queen said, "Oh," and went to His Majesty. "Talking of the butter for the royal slice of bread," is my Queen voice, "many people think that marmalade is nicer. Would you like to try a little marmalade instead?" The King said, "Bother." And then he said, "Oh, dearie me." The King sobbed, "Oh, dearie me," and went back to bed. "Nobody," he whimpered, "could call me a fussy man. I only want a little bit of butter for my bread." The Queen said, "There, there," and went to the dairymaid. The dairymaid said, "There, there," and went to the shed. The cow said, "There, there, I didn't really mean it. Here's milk for his porringer and butter for his bread." The Queen took the butter and brought it to His Majesty. The King said, "Butter, eh?" and bounced out of bed. "Nobody," he said, as he kissed her tenderly. "Nobody," he said, as he slid down the banisters. "Nobody, my darling, could call me a fussy man. But I do like a little bit of butter to my bread." Enjoy that? I love that bit at the front. He goes, "I'll go and tell the cow now. I'll go and tell the cow now." Isn't that poetry? Of course it is. And you may have noticed, I'll tell you anyway, A. Milne is a master of repetition. He uses repetition to very good effect. You will notice it a few times, at least twice in that particular poem, where the Queen says, one says, "There, there." The Queen says, "There, there." The dairymaid says, "There, there." The cow says, "There, there." And then right at the end we have the King saying, "Nobody," he said, da, da, da. "Nobody," he said, as he stood down the banner. "Nobody might." It's just repetition. It's used to very, very good effect. So that is the Dog's Dinner, the King's Breakfast. Moving on to the second poem, and this poem's actually quite poignant. Parents, if you are there, parents, listen to this poem. It's got a message. It's called Binker, and Binker is Christopher Robin's imaginary friend. Christopher Robin had a prodigious imagination, doubtless in part because he was an only child and on his own a lot of the time. That's, I suppose, why he had such a relationship with his bear, Winnie the Pooh. And of course he had a nanny who was actually, he's probably one of his best friends really. But Binker is Christopher Robin's imaginary friend. There are 4 verses to this poem, and each verse has what I might call a chorus, I suppose. But there's a slight progression. So let's read the poem. Binker by A. Milne. Binker, what I call him, is a secret of my own, and Binker is the reason why I never feel alone. Playing in the nursery, sitting on the stair, whatever I am busy at, Binker will be there. Here's the chorus. Oh, Daddy is clever. He's a clever sort of man. And Mummy is the best since the world began. And Nanny is Nanny, and I call her Nan. But they can't see Binker. Binker's always talking because I'm teaching him to speak. He sometimes likes to do it in a funny sort of squeak. And he sometimes likes to do it in a hooting sort of roar. And I had to do it for him because his throat is rather sore. Oh, Daddy is clever. He's a clever sort of man. Mummy knows all that anybody can. And Nanny is Nanny, and I call her Nan. But they don't know Binker. Binker's brave as lions when we're running in the park. Binker's brave as tigers when we're lying in the dark. Binker's brave as elephants, he never cries, except, like other people, when the soap goes in his eyes. Oh, Daddy is Daddy, he's a daddy sort of man. And Mummy is as Mummy as anybody can. And Nanny is Nanny, and I call her Nan. But they're not like Binker. Binker isn't greedy, but he does like things to eat. So I have to say to people when they're giving me a sweet, oh, Binker wants a chocolate, so could you give me 2? And then I eat it for him because his teeth are rather new. Well, I'm very fond of Daddy, but he hasn't time to play. And I'm very fond of Mummy, but she sometimes goes away. And I'm often cross with Nanny when she wants to brush my hair. But Binker's always Binker, and is certain to be there. Now, as an aside, you may have noticed another example of repetition there, the way A.A. Milne used Binker's brave as lions, Binker's brave as tigers, Binker's brave as elephants, except and so on. But the poignant part about the poem is A.A. Milne is Christopher Robin's father. So Christopher Robin Milne, that was his full name. And A.A. Milne, Alan Alexander Milne, is actually writing the poem against himself. Because what he's saying, in effect, is, I'm not there for my son as much as I'd like to be. And his mother isn't there as much as it would be good for her to be. That's what he's saying. He's just slightly, it's a poem of a father almost feeling a bit guilty, I would say, something along those lines. So if that strikes a few chords with anybody, then do with it what you will. But that's a very special, very clever poem. Great. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to share those with you, and I very much look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.